Man, just when you think someone can't get any more repulsive, they do. And just when you think the strategy can't get any worse for some people, it does. Welcome back. Welcome back, y'all, to the DeAndre Way, where tonight we are discussing the challenge, season 40, Battle of the Eras, episode 4. We already on episode 4. We on our way. I don't know how many episodes there are this season, but it's been good so far. This episode, though, has been the worst episode of the whole season, and that's giving grace to the first 3 episodes. Not like it's been a bad episode. It was just a lot of really lackluster compared to the other two, just because the daily challenge was it was trivia, so there's not really much to talk about there. And then the elimination was actually pretty interesting. I did like the elimination a lot because there was a lot of equalizers, and it wasn't just who was the fastest or the strongest. It involved some skill. It was a very skillful elimination, the biggest skill we've seen so far. Hold on. I just dropped my phone, y'all. Look, it's been a long night. We've been doing two fantasy drafts tonight, and trying to watch the challenge at the same time. It has been a multitasking adventure for me. But yes, um, I think it's done. The Laurel is looking more atrocious every single episode. Every single episode, she's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and lower and lower and lower, as she says. Just as a person, like, it's not a good look. None of these are good looks. I mean, she's. I wouldn't even say it's entertaining because it's coming from. It seems like it's coming from a nasty place. It's not even like poking fun or the competitive spirit. It's just she just does not seem happy and excited about anything and anyone there, and you could see it. Like it's seething through the television screen. And she's gonna get what she deserves, I hope, soon. And then she called out Emily, who's not been a problem to nobody, and it's like, what are you doing? So she's acting like a child. She has no witty comebacks, and she just is a bully. Just like Darrell said, she's a bully, and nobody likes to see a bully in action. We just ready to see them taken out. And if I were Derek and Jenny, I would have picked Laurel again and again and again. They should have picked Johnny again. Like, the thing is, they're doing this whole fair thing. I don't get of, oh, whoever's a volunteer wants to volunteer. Nah, I'm picking. So that was dumb as well on their part. But we'll get into it, y'all. We will get into it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the Andre Way. I appreciate y'all. We on our way up and moving in the right direction. And we get started with the episode from the nominations from last episode, which was Aneessa and Derrick for Era 1. Era 2 was Bananas and Laurel. Era 3 was Jordan and Jordan and who? Jordan and Naya. And Era 4 was Jenny and Kylan. All these names. There's still 30 people left, and we're in episode 4, y'all. It's been a hefty season already. But yes, those are the 4. Good job on Darrell for nominating Laurel and Bananas. I knew he had it in him. He don't like making decisions, but this brother stood 10 toes tall, and Martin Luther King Jr. will be proud. So salute to you, my brother. Jordan, I'll give him props too. He was smart for volunteering because that set a precedent for his whole entire team for the rest of the game. Well, it's seemingly smart to quote unquote volunteer, even though that didn't quite happen. But hey, he started the example, and if he could get through this one, he should be safe for the next 4 weeks ish. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So we'll see if his strategy works out. And if not, which we'll see soon, it might blow up in his own face. But we have to get through the challenge first. And Aneessa said that in the last final, which she had was challenge 38, ride or dies. No, spies, lies, and allies. Spies, lies, and allies or ride or dies. I forget which one. They kind of mix between. I think it was spies, lies, and allies. I can't remember. But she tore her meniscus. She tore her ACL and MCL. She tore everything. I mean, everything was toe up to the flow up. And salute to the doctor who got that thing done because That was crazy. Hold on, what is going on, y'all? See, look, we having technical difficulties tonight. People try. Look, I apologize, y'all. They trying to get me to do this football draft at the same time I'm trying to do the podcast because it's getting late. But I gotta give y'all what y'all need first. Anywho, yes, Aneesa tore everything under the sun, and shout out to her doctor. If I ever tear something, I'm going to her doctor. So if y'all know who that is, put it in the comments. Um, she was she was broken down and she had made a full recovery, which is good. And so Tori confides in Josh after they had their little arguments, and they're both like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't this. It was that." I'm like, "The right time? When is the right time to make a call out like that?" Josh and Tori, I didn't know there was a right and wrong time to have an argument. That doesn't really make sense to me. Exactly, that's what I said. AR, no scars at all. Aneesa just bam magically appear with new ACL, new MCL, new meniscus. Those things take a long time, and you tear all three, and she's a little older. That's crazy to me that she was medically cleared to compete on this challenge. No hate to Aneesa at all. I like Aneesa, but I just am worried for her safety of knowing that. So definitely, I'm surprised that they allowed her to come on the show with all those injuries. It was crazy, y'all, but she showed up. So Aneesa might have the strongest knees on this planet Earth. She needs to be X-rayed and and seeing if she has any extra modifications on there, because I didn't know the technology was that good and nowadays to repair all those things, and then you just back at it, because she was moving today. I don't know, they must have put something extra in there, coach, some hot sauce in there or something. I don't know. And but yes, I right, just tell the truth. That's right, got to, because something else is going on with that knee. I really want to know, is that really happen, or is it cap? Because something smells real fishy. But anywho, yes, Tori's apologizing to Josh, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, this, that, and the third. It's just I'm not able to, express myself freely sometimes, and this, that, and the third." And like Tori and Josh, come on now, y'all are just, that argument was for camera time or what it was. I don't even know. That argument seemed fake in the first place, and now y'all apologizing and saying, "Okay, we won't do it at the wrong time again." Josh, wake up. Wake up, Josh. He's sleepwalking through this game right now, and he's setting himself up for failure, especially with what he did this episode. And yes, AR, all the excuses, I agree. It is, look. Hey, Aneesa needs something, all right? She needs something, coach. We got to let her just have her little moment, because, she got some packing anyway, so we had to let her have her moment. But soon, yes, we get to the challenge, and this challenge is trivia. Now, I won't focus too much time on this challenge, because basically they rushed through this, and essentially as well, because each era is playing against each other in this one, and basically what it is they have a level of difficulty for the categories, and they get a certain amount of points for that. It wasn't real easy to keep track of the points. It was, but I just wasn't really worried about all that, because at the end of the day, you could have one person if they're getting everything right, and it's just for the point. And you could have people not up there, and the other team's just getting it wrong, and you could still win. So I didn't really like the format. I think it should have just been, okay, you miss it, you're out. You miss it, you're out. And it should have been as a team discussion, not just one individual person, in my opinion, because it's a team challenge. So the individuality behind it was really head scratching. And all the questions were about challenge history, which I like, because it was fair game. It wasn't like, oh, what's the capital of Indonesia? I hate when they ask questions like that. I'm like, coach, who in here is studying that kind of geography? It should always be challenge related, if all the questions, if you really be honest, or at least about the country that they're in. I could see that. But yes, the trivia challenge kind of comes and goes. Kylan was real confident going into this. I didn't know, everyone's so high on Kylan. I didn't know Kylan had this threat level so big. I didn't see Kylan on Big Brother per se. I didn't watch his season, but I didn't know that he had those bag of tricks in his pockets, coach. So we get going, and pretty much the daily challenge is trivia. It's trivia, but it all comes down to the end, basically, between Era 2 and Era 4. And no, Era 2 and Era 3. Jordan is up against. Well, before we get there, I'm skipping the whole thing. Sorry, y'all. CT falls in the water when Derrick gets his question wrong, and he hurts his back, I think, and whatnot. He hurts himself pretty bad in the water. It looked like a pretty nasty fall and splash. We got an extra sound effect, so we didn't really get to see what happened. But CT, boy, you got it. Look, when you go from 200 pounds to 250 pounds to 190 to 260, you gonna break a few things, coach. You gonna hurt yourself in the process, and that kind of weight fluctuation ain't healthy in general, and let alone when you competing on a show. CT, it ain't looking too good for you, coach. I mean, he came back in the game, but coach, like, look, CT, his age was showing for the first time in a long time, so he needs to get it together. But yes, Era 4 loses first, and Horacio and Jenny are going into elimination straight out. And then Era 1 falls out, and so it's up to Jordan in Era 3, like I said. But it eventually becomes sudden death, and they do their sudden death on the land. And it's Laurel versus Jordan, the two alphas of the whole entire challenge. Alpha-ing it out. That's a mouthful. But Jordan misses his question, or Laurel gets her question right first, and then Jordan misses his question, and then Era 2 wins. So Bananas and Laurel is safe. Dang it. I wanted them to lose. But they missed. They dodged this bullet, and it's quite convenient that those two become safe. The biggest bully of the whole entire season, Laurel, and then production's favorite, Bananas. Even though he complains that production's rigging things against him, no, they're not, Bananas. They're on your side. You can say what you want, but production got your back when the horse meets the hay, or when the camel meets the horse's back. I think that's the saying. They got his back, and they wasn't rigging nothing in this challenge per se, but Bananas, I need you to just stop acting like woe is me all the time, because Bananas, for one, he's been capping this whole challenge about everything, and two, he's just Mr. Woe is me. So you gotta pick a struggle, Bananas. Pick a struggle. But yes, Era 2 wins, and Laurel tries to call out Darrell. Okay, I'm gonna go in real quick. Laurel calls out Darrell, saying, "Fuck you, Darrell. You this, you that, blah, 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 getting massages on your back." And I'm like, Laurel, why are you coming at Darrell? He had to pick somebody. You think you just shouldn't be nominated? You think you that great and that frivolous to where you can just skate by and everyone's going to let you do what you did in All Stars 4? This ain't All Stars 4. You're going to have to work for it this time. So, oh my gosh, horror that you have to work for your wins for once and not just be given things and handouts. I'm like, Laurel, shut up. I'm like, I need the uncensored version of what Darrell was saying, because he never gets like that. I have not really seen people make Darrell get that angry. And the fact that he was going out after someone, let alone Laurel, out of all people, a woman too, that's so out of his character. So she must have said something slick that we didn't see, and I don't appreciate that at all. So Laurel, you gonna get these hands by somebody, so you better watch out. You better not cry. So yeah, and then she tries to diss her own teammate too and call Emily out for giving Darrell a massage. When he hurt his back in the elimination, that's probably why he was getting a massage. But you don't have to work for anything. You don't have to go into elimination, and you won't need a massage because you're being, fed handicaps, and you've been being fed everything under the sun, stars and All Stars 4, to where you don't really have to work as hard as others. So maybe if you went to elimination, you'd need a back massage. And calling out your teammate for one, and two, a person who isn't giving anyone any problems. Laurel, you just keep getting, like I said, lower and lower and lower and lower. It's getting sad, honestly. And then we saw the preview for next episode. I think that's we getting to the bottom of the well. So we better put a coin down there and hopefully something come back up. But yeah, Darrell goes back at her though and gives her his 2 cents and three. And so, Era 1 is Aneess and Derrick, and Era 3, Nia and Jordan. They are both up at risk for elimination. Rachel knows that if any strategy is being played, then Jordan and Nia should go in. Yes, Jordan and Nia should go in. You got Jordan, arguably the best player there, in the best shape. Very formidable opponents. The most formidable. When he's in a final, he ain't really losing like that. And then you got Nia, who is a beast in her own rights. She's not like the beast maybe she once was in the past, but she's still the tallest woman there and definitely has the ability to make it far in the game and take out a lot of people. And then you have Era 1, Derrick, who's way past his prime. Way past his prime. Maybe a threat in the final, but he's still a strong player. Give Derrick his kudos and whatnot. But he's not, I don't think he's anywhere near Jordan. And we have Aneesa, who, if you're any smart player, you would want to keep on Era 1 as a crutch. And you don't want to get rid of a player like that. Not in this kind of game, you know? And so it should be a no-brainer. But it seems like the people who was making decisions are no-brainers and have no brains. Bananas and Laurel, they're thinking with their emotions once again. And if they had the chance, they probably would have thrown in their own teammate, Cara. Which thankfully Laura Cara was safe this episode. But yes, it's obvious. Bananas, I know you have an alliance or an agreement with Jordan, and you said you're not going to target each other. Bananas, if you want your 8th win, you're going to have to make these tough decisions. And I think this elimination would have suited Horacio very well against Jordan because of his one hand. Now, granted, Jordan, that's not an excuse for Jordan. He can definitely overcome things, but this elimination was close, and Horacio could have taken out Jordan. Imagine Horacio taking out Jordan. That opens up the game wide open for the guys. But Bananas, you pick and choose when you want to cross people. You pick and choose who and who not you want to align yourself with. Jordan's a strong player. You're not the best of friends with him, but why didn't you make that agreement with Cara? She's one of the strongest women there, but you can make an agreement with Jordan, your actual competition, or Cara, someone who can actually help you out and is on your own team. Makes no sense. Now, Laurel, I will give her this. She did date Jordan in the past, so I can understand why she doesn't want to throw her in. But at the same time, y'all used to date. Y'all don't date no more, so what do you owe him? You said, this was the goofiest argument she said, too. She said, when I got eliminated in Ride or Dies, he eliminated the 2 people that I wanted eliminated next. You were already out the game, Laurel. Why do you care who stays and who goes? Why do you think you should have any say or dictatorship on what happens to the rest of the game if you already out the game? EA style, you out the game. And that's why you think you own him? Because he did you a solid? If he really did you a solid, you wouldn't have got eliminated in the first place, and he could have maybe persuaded the people who threw you into elimination and not do that. But oh, that's right. You pick and choose too when you want to have selective memory on who really is there for you and who isn't. That's right. You and Banana suffer from the same disease, it seems like. So, like I said, y'all, who needs friends? Who needs enemies when you got friends like that? Crazy. And Banana's like, you know better. And he's like, I'm not going to pull a Tony. Like, I get that. You're not going to sacrifice yourself. But I guarantee you Laurel won't choose to go down to elimination either. Did you ever think about that? Laurel isn't going to sacrifice herself for anybody else. And if you want to do something, then you can put your foot down. In every other decision, usually you put your foot down. But this is the one that you just choose not to when you have the biggest fish in the frying pan right there ready to eat up. And you just let it burn. And so you have to throw it away. And might not get to go back to the supermarket and get another fish to fry? Dumb. Dumb. And that's a perfect example of even Big Brother this past week. That'd be like if they didn't send Tucker home. They got the biggest platter. that they choose to just eat at the salad bar. It makes no sense. It made no sense. I don't care what y'all little agreement was. Get the biggest player out the game. There's no bigger player than Jordan in this game. Zero. Maybe Bananas himself or CT, but you can't take him out yet. Or that's it, really. It's Jordan and Bananas on the top of the food chain, essentially, and you just let him slide to the left, slide to the left, slide to the right. Crisscross. Everybody clap your hands. But yes, CT comes back. I thought CT was going to be out the game for a minute there. It looked pretty bad. Getting carried off on a stretcher is something major. But if anyone can come back from a stretcher, it's CT. So he comes back in his blazing glory and fashion. So I'm happy to see him back. I didn't want to see nobody get injury disqualification. Jordan says him and Bananas have agreed to keep the peace. That's what y'all agreed on, huh? Keeping the peace. Okay. We'll roll with that story. Jordan says he's coaching Nia on what to say to Bananas. I don't even know why they had this segment. It doesn't matter what Nia says. Jordan did all the talking anyway, so why did they even have that segment? Because I wrote that down. I was like, okay, Nia's going to say something like that's going to maybe sway his decision, but it didn't even matter in the first place. It wasn't even Bananas' decision. So what are you coaching her on what to say if you already know what's going to happen? I don't like how they're playing selectively dumb and acting like, okay, like we got to really propose that we need to be safe when you knew you were safe the whole time. Coming back from the elimination on the bus ride home, Laurel was probably like, look, y'all ain't even got to say nothing in there, really. You just make it look good for TV, all right? Just make a little few of these, little few of these, little few of those, and you going to be straight. But it was pointless. Like, they didn't have to say anything. Laurel was basically had a decision made before they even went in there. So I don't even know why they decided to have it. And Corey, his antennas is finally up, but Corey, it's a little too late for that now. You think it's suspect that Jordan went to your baby shower and didn't know that your ex's name? He was there and he knows this girl and he knows that that's your ex? Smells a little fishy. It smells fishy, just like Chinatown. And yeah, that was Cap. Definitely he threw the mission because he knew that once he saw who he was up against is Bananas and Laurel, he knew that, oh, I'm safe. They're not going to put me in. They're going to put the Era 4 in. So, or not Era 4, Era 1. So I knew what time it was. Corey knew what time it was, but Corey, you can't even be mad at them because you could have had a chance to get them out and, well, get them out. Essentially get him out the first episode going up against Leroy in the pole wrestle. Jordan would not have won that. Period. The pole wrestle or the balls in. Jordan would not have won that. So this is your own fault, Corey. You ain't got nobody to be mad at but yourself if Jordan stays in this game. So you ain't even got no reason to be upset like that. And don't start crying wolf now about how, oh, they said it sounds fishy. Corey, come on. You had the chance already. Love you, brother, but it's too late for all that. And yes, Jordan was capping. Even in his myth, he was capping. Brad and Emily start getting close quarters and close connection with each other. They starting to get it on a little bit more. I like to see them together. They're a nice break up in the monotony of what's going down, but they're going moving is slow. They're on the A train express or the A train local. They're not moving express times. Derrick tells Bananas it would be stupid for him not to nominate Jordan. Yes, you just explained. But Derrick, you of all people should know what time it is with Bananas and how he really rocks. So I feel bad for you, brother. You don't deserve that, but you got to know who you're dealing with at this point. And you're dealing with the apex of the challenge in Bananas and the person who's always going to do what they want at the end of the day. You know this, Derrick. Banana says he ain't pulling a Tony. We explained. And Laurel tells Horacio she wants strong men in the final. So she is keeping Jordan safe. She told him that. And I was like, oh, God. You don't care about Horacio. And the whole thing is like she wants strongman in the final. I get that they get paired up, but what about what's best for your team? This is a team game right now. So how do you already know it's going to be an individual final? How does she know that? That's suspicious. Smells real fishy again. There's a lot of fish going on right now, you know? I don't know what's going on, but that's very suspicious how she knows that or why she thinks that. Now, look, they've had it in the past, so I'm not going to jump to too many conclusions, but at the same time, this could be a team final. You really want to go against Jordan in a team final? She think this All-Stars for. Come on now. CT and Derrick knows that their team is a mess, so they joke about their team and say, "Look, we just out here getting injured left and right, messing up," and they joking about it, which you got to laugh at it at the end of the day. Air 2, so they decide to meet as a team, which is interesting. And Nehemiah is the first one to pop off like, "Hey, y'all, we didn't meet it. We said last night at the club we was going to meet up. We was going to do some kumbaya. We was going to toast, and we didn't do none of that. Man, what's up?" I was like, "Okay, Nehemiah, I see you." And Nehemiah came back. He's like, "Look, I know I ain't been out the game in a minute, but I'm ready to get this thing cracking. And y'all not. So what's going on?" But Nehemiah hasn't been around in a minute on the main season, so he doesn't really know the dynamics of how they really get down. This ain't All Stars Nehemiah's. This is, and he's slowly realizing that. But yes, he doesn't feel like they're a team and they're not working together and they're working basically one person at a time. Laurel says Jordan helped her. Like I said, Laurel said Jordan helped the last time eliminate people she wanted, even though she was gone. Makes no sense. And Nehemiah knows. He knows that everybody should target Jordan. He's like, what are we even talking about? This is Jordan. He's won 4 times. This dude runs triathlons for fun. He tortures himself for a living, working out for fun. He wins challenges with one hand. What are we doing, y'all? But they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. So Nehemiah, look, I'm sorry, Nehemiah. This ain't All Stars. You're going to have to find a new game plan and get some allies to really help you make things shake because your team is not going to do it. You need to have your own team within your team get together and talk about what y'all going to do and talk to the next 2 targets. That's why he nominated himself as a target because he's like, look, if y'all ain't going to get the job done, I will get the job done myself. So shout out Nehemiah, man. He's the one standing 10 toes down, and I cannot complain about what he's doing. Laurel said there's no other option, guys. All we have is to nominate Era 1. That's it. All right, Laurel. Making no sense, once again. I guess you had no other option than to get buddy-buddy with Nicole, too, on All Stars 4. You probably say that was the only option as well, huh? You seem like you always tell yourself you have no options when there's many, but you choose to make the poorer one. And Ryan out here airing your dirty laundry, Laurel, you better be careful. Because it's not a pretty sight when your closest friends start turning on you as well. That says a lot. And your closest friends start airing things, even if y'all mad at each other. They don't usually start airing things. That's a low blow, and Ryan's doing that. That's speaking volumes. So, not a good look. But yes, Ryan says Laurel's being a puppet master for their team. She is Geppetto, Geppetto, and everyone else is Pinocchio's. They aren't friends anymore. They discarded their friendships so easily, just out the window. See, that's the thing. Fickle friendships is wild. How so easily somebody will choose to drop their friendship with someone speaks volumes about what they thought about their relationship as a whole in the first place. It shouldn't take one argument to say that you're not friends anymore. It shouldn't take, a couple disagreements to say, oh, we're not friends anymore. That should happen over something major or over a long period of time. And especially if it's something that's nonsensical. I don't know what their big deal was, like what the breaking point was in their friendship. But considering how close they were on All Stars and then how just like quickly it snapped in between then and then this, even though All Stars, granted, it was a while ago, so there was probably some time, but sad to see. But Laurel, if your friendships, and I guess Ryan to a degree, if your friendships breaking that quickly, then were y'all even friends in the first place, or y'all just forcing yourselves to be friends? Sounds like the forced part to me, because I wouldn't let my really close friend who possibility of not being friends no more know these certain things, you know, so deep about me. I mean, that I was homeless apparently. Look, I ain't gonna get into her mess. It was on Twitter. Go check Ryan's Twitter, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. But yes, so it's chamber time. Derrick wrote a speech slash map down about what's there to do. He's trying to plan out his next attack on trying to convince Laurel and Johnny Morley. So Laurel on how they should, why they should not nominate him. He comes up with a good argument. He well thought out. Anissa didn't have to do too much of the talking because, you know, Johnny and Laurel really don't care about Anissa. So yeah, that's the type settings that they're on. So Jarek does a good job on this, but unfortunately, it's fallen on deaf ears, and I doubt the decision will change, unfortunately. But Derek, shout out to you, man. He's had a lot of time to prepare for this on his podcast, going through all the different scenarios. So shout out Derek for giving the people what they really wanted to see, but sadly, he wasn't trying to hear it, and they shut the door in your face. Johnny says it will come down to Laurel. Okay, Johnny. Okay. Like you didn't already say that Jordan already didn't admit, like Jordan didn't already admit that you and him were in an alliance. So it did come down to you two. Don't put this all on her as much as I want to, but it's a team decision, and you could have said something because Laura wasn't going to go down to elimination either. So stop it, Johnny. The cap is atrocious. Johnny, please. We got to stop sometime. Jordan says in order to have power, you have to win. So Jordan's argument is like, look, Era 1 ain't going to win no challenges, so they can't protect nobody. They can't even protect their own team. But I will win the challenges. Fair argument. Fair argument. If you're going to pick the weak player to be aligned with, then you got to be able to, you know, squat over 500 pounds because they're not going to be able to even lift the bar off the rack. So I understand that. That's a very valid point. I like that point, actually. Very, very good point. But if Jordan's the one squatting the most in the whole entire show, what makes you think that you're going to out squat him? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I can out squat Anissa and Derrick. Can I out squat Jordan? No, I can't. So, uh, still, it was like, all right, well, you're going to beat us anyway. So you're saying you're going to win and you're going to beat us. Then we have to be in your mercy rather than us just keep winning against Era 1, Anissa and Derrick. He basically said to their face, like, oh, I'm going to win and I'm going to beat you guys. And so you're going to need me. Okay, well, why don't we just take you out so you don't win, so we don't need you? You ever think about that? Guess not. Didn't really matter what Nia said. She spoke up, but it really didn't matter. Johnny tried to then cry about being friends with so many people, and that's a hard decision for him to make because he has relationships, and it really sucks. I'm like, Johnny, stop. You do not care. You do not care about none of these people to that extent, okay? Your closest friends aren't on the show. They're not. So you just want these people to come on your podcast. I get it. Look, I want people to come on my podcast too, but stop capping, Johnny. It's not really that hard of a decision for you to make. It's really not. Derrick, yeah, that's your homie, but y'all don't kick it like that. Y'all maybe it used to be tight, but I know y'all not really like that tight anymore. And Nisa, you really don't care about like that. You're fake nice too. Horacio, you're nearly not even friends with. And then Jenny, you won a season alongside her. You guys weren't teammates in that final challenge in Total Madness. You just ran alongside each other and won. He's like, we have a special bond. No, you don't. Not really. I mean, you won alongside each other. But I heard through the grapevine that it was supposed to be a solo champ, and Johnny shouldn't even have won that season. But we don't get into that. We don't get into that. And then, yeah, Jordan, you've been rivals, but now you're working together. And then Nia, you guys have really no relationship, no real relationship. So I don't know what you're talking about, Johnny. Josh said he's going to nominate himself next. That was just a side note, y'all. Put a pin in that. And it's elimination time. Laurel says Horacio will be good at the elimination when she sees it immediately and didn't even know the rules yet. Laurel, I know that used to be your lover, your Latin lover. But how are you going to say you're going to be good at it when you don't even know what the rules are yet? How did she know this? How did she know what he was going to be good at the elimination by just looking at it? I don't know, y'all. Smells fishy. It smells fishy to me. Very fishy. Um, yes. So we get to the elimination. Laurel ended up picking Aneesa and Derrick. Shocker. TJ even clowns Banana's integrity about, really holding his friends high and why Derrick was chosen. He's like, Bananas, you ain't got no integrity out of everybody here, so you might not want to just stick this one out, coach. So TJ even stomping Bananas out. That's a shame. I guess they might be picking on him. But the elimination is called Pick It Up. And what they must do is they reach in the basket, grab the ball, they shoot it in like the crate where it goes down, slide, and then on the way it's going down, you got to pick up the jacks and catch the ball before it hits the ground. Then you place the jacks that you carried on the wall. Pretty simple. Easy rules. Yeah. And so the girls go first. Jenny's having a crazy tough time getting this ball up there. It's crazy, all these muscles she got, but she can't get this ball up 10. It's probably like 15 feet high, maybe. I can't really tell. They're medicine balls, I believe. They're medicine ball weights, I think. I think the balls look like they weigh maybe like 5 to 10 pounds. They didn't look that heavy, but Jenny was struggling. She was struggling, coach. I'm like, Jenny, how you have all these muscles and you have no like athletic like mobility? It didn't make any sense. And Aneesa was dog walking her for a while. She kept it up, she would have won. But yes, the elimination is very back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Jenny even gets really gassed in it, which is shocking. I know we missed a lot. I'm curious to know how long the elimination actually took. If she was that tired, I imagine it took at least a half hour because there was a lot of jacks. And I think they might have over exaggerated a little bit how tired she was, but they made it look like she was weak. They made it look like Aneesa was really just walking a dog outside all day in the hot sun on her. But it was very close, and Aneesa has a chance at the end to get the victory. Aneesa's about to win. I was like, oh, snap. Aneesa's really about to take out Jenny. What? Oh, my gosh. Aneesa. And then she misses the last one. Aneesa, you were so close. That would have been funny as hell. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted Aneesa to win just because, Aneesa's Era 1. OG, we love Era 1 and whatnot. But dang, she just missed it by this much. And then she lost. And Jenny won. So Jenny eliminated Aneesa, and it was nice knowing you, girl. She did her best. But she did do a good job. She barely lost by one jack, I believe, and everyone thought she might have was going to get blown out the water, but she stood 10 toes and she did what she did her thing. So I think she can only leave with her head held high. Maybe one day we'll get that illustrious Aneesa win. Maybe. Or maybe hell will freeze over. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't. I wish Aneesa would have got the win by now already. But, with the torn ACL, torn meniscus, torn MCL, look, I don't know what's going to happen, Aneesa. I don't know. Might need to go on a different game show for the win, what we are so-called craving. But yes, she's ready to get her weave out, and she exits to the side. And so now it's time for the guys to go. The guys, boom, go. Derrick is killing it. Not surprised. Derrick is an athlete. He's good at a lot, pretty much everything. Horacio's obviously good as well. They're going and going and going and going and going. And it's time for the last ball. So this is where it became kind of more fishy for me. They get to the last ball. They both get it. They're running down. Derrick puts his up. Horacio puts his up. But when Horacio grabs his ball, he just grabs it, turns around, walks slowly, puts the jacks up. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's so close, so close. Are y'all watching? Was y'all watching the same thing I was watching? If it's so close and we don't know who won, why did he just casually walk over and put the ball or put the jacks on like he had all the time in the world, like he was taking a stroll in the park? And then we don't know who wins until TJ announces it. I want to see side-by-side shots so we're not getting this facade of how it was really close. I think they might have just acted that up for the cameras because it made no sense. Derrick rushed and put his away, but Horacio just turns around and walks and puts his in there, and they act like it was this tight race when there's no way it could have been that tight of a race because he looked like he lost when he caught the ball and turned around. Like he looked like he was just already over it. So why are they acting like it was so close? Just be transparent, y'all. Who cares? We don't need a photo finish every single time. We just care about who wins and who loses. This ain't the 100-meter dash. This ain't the Grand Prix. This ain't none of that. So just show us the side by side. But they trying to add these dramatics. Look, I don't get it. But Derrick ended up winning, as it looked like, and Horacio lost by 1. And yes, so it's time to pick. So shout out Derrick too as well. Horacio, good try, but he even said, "Look, first season I made it to the final. Last 2 seasons I ain't make it to the final. Look, that's the challenge, Horacio. I mean, I think he needs to work on his political game a lot, and it's not just going to come down to his athleticism. It's not. He has to do more. Maybe he could have saved himself, but he seemed checked out once Nerese left. So hopefully he gets to spend some time with her before he goes to his next show, which whatever that is, because I have a feeling he's going to be on another whatever show that is to try and get his redemption. But it's time to pick the targets. And this is where I had an issue with because there was a lot of volunteering going on, and I just don't think that's how it should have been. But Derrick eventually picked CT and Tina because they volunteered. Look, Derrick should have. I thought it was supposed to be. This was weird too. I thought it was the guys picking the girls and the girls picking the guys. And yes, I get that they volunteered, but that doesn't mean that the people picking have to follow the rules of what the team wants. It's their decision. So with Jenny's going to kind of do whatever. She's not trying to ruffle no feathers. And Derrick, I guess, on the same boat to an extent, but he has to think strategy at this point, and he can't just let these people volunteer themselves. So Era 1, sure, that's fine that they volunteered because they're not really a biggest threat. But Era 2, it's Emily and Nehemiah, and they both kind of volunteer. But if I was Derrick and Johnny just did me dirty like that, I would have picked Bananas and then picked Laurel right after that because Laurel was trying to dog my dude Darrell. Okay, y'all can go right back up. Here you go. If y'all so good at the game, because just because you win the challenge doesn't mean you're safe. So he should have nominated the same people and just come on, keep rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But I don't know what's going on in this game of friendship. Derrick, he wants them guests on his podcast too, it seems like. He ain't trying to lose no podcast guests. So he's like, look, just whatever y'all want. And also once CT decides to volunteer, Josh, he don't want that smoke no more, it seemed like. He got spooked once he saw CT, and he's like, I'm not trying to have deja vu. Let me slide to the left on this one, to the left settings. And so he had to bow out ungracefully. Era 3 was Devin and Tori that was chose. Corey didn't volunteer either. He saw CT too, and he's like, look, I'm gonna pass on this one, y'all. And CT, it's Corey, that's the smartest thing you could have did so far. That's the smartest thing you have done this whole game is slide to the left on this volunteering game and threw your teammates under the bus. I'm surprised they went along with it, but I guess they had no choice because it wasn't even their decision. I mean, Derrick and Jenny's decision on who the guy is. So the whole volunteering thing, it's like, it doesn't really even matter at this point because it's Jenny's decision. You could say you volunteer, but she doesn't have to go with what you say. But smart on Corey for doing that. Very smart. And then Era 4 is Olivia and Kyland. Olivia volunteers and Kyland gets picked because Josh punked out because he wasn't going to defeat CCT. Hey, look, Josh, I'll give you credit on too. You slide to the left and you slide to the left. I can't even hate you on that, Like, you had to do what you had to do. You made a business decision. And you say, I'm going to worry about this tomorrow. I know I can't pay my credit card this month, but I'm just going to let it overdraft and I'm going to worry about it next month. Kylan's not happy with that. He was tight. He's like, look, man, I thought we made a decision. Josh was like, look, no, I won Big Brother, okay? I won Big Brother playing this way. You did not. You fell on your sword with the Cookout Collective, and I did not. So that was episode 4. Good episode quality. I give it a 6.5, to be honest. I think the daily trivia, they need a way to spice up trivia because it's just getting boring and played out. I'm glad they did it early on so we get it out of the way instead of it being a crucial challenge late in the season like it is so often. And the elimination, I didn't mind the elimination. I still go off what I said last week is I wish that they just got to pick anybody instead of only having four people to choose, two guys and two girls to choose from for the elimination. I don't think that's right, but that's just what they wanted. Hopefully they change the format soon. And yeah, I think Laurel's trash. I think Darrell's right for going at her and ripping her to shreds. All she did was do like la 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 and try to do like that childish 2-year-old tactic. I think Corey and Josh were smart to slide out of the way of the bulldozer at CT, but he's hurt, so he might be he might be an open target to kind of take aim and fire at. And I think Jenny and Derrick were silly by not just picking who they wanted to pick rather than just letting the teams pick themselves. I think that was silly because then they lose all their power. The whole point of the twist is so you have the power to keep nominating the people that you want to nominate, not just give the power up. Then what's the point of the whole twist? That's so it made no sense. And yeah, I think there's some players flying under the radar. Aviv, John, um, Jordan kind of slid under the radar on this one too. And lastly, I think Michelle. She's sliding under the radar. She knows that, and she knows Jenny is her shield essentially, and she needs Jenny in this game not only for the challenges, but somebody to pick up there to be a target, because they're not really gonna pick Michelle over Jenny, and it looks like to that Michelle ain't gonna volunteer either. So we'll see. But I believe there's not an episode next week because of 9/11. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's an episode. So we will see. I will see y'all in 2 weeks for episode 5. And yeah, I'm expecting a double elimination soon. I'm hopefully expecting Laurel to get out the game soon because I saw the previews for the next episode and I was not too pleased to see what she was up to in her antics. And I'm definitely going to be hot on probably 10 on that episode recap. So yeah, y'all, that was it. Tell me what you thought. Did you like this episode or did you not like this episode? Do you think Derrick and Jenny bailed them out, or do you think they did what was best for their game by giving everybody what they wanted? I don't think they did, but that's just me. Anywho, y'all, appreciate y'all so much for joining for tonight's recap of the challenge, episode 5, Battle of the Eras. We out here, y'all. Thank you so much again for joining. Peace, blessings, deuces, and have a great rest of your day and great rest of your weekend. And oh yeah, I saw Laurel making Cara cry. We're going to see who's crying in the end because this nonsense got to stop. And I can't wait for it to happen because she going to get her licks back. Best believe Cara going to get her licks back one way or another. Just wait on it, y'all.